Alright guys, let's find the inverse of a function. So, as you see, the notation is upper right side. And how we're gonna read this? F inverse of x. Okay? F inverse of x. First, we're gonna replace f of x with the y. Alright? Right, like regular equations with y equal. After that, you replace every x with a y. Alright? And solve the equation for y. Alright? And after you solve that equation, you're going to replace y with our inverse notation, f inverse of x. After that, how we can verify? We're going to compose those two functions and see both will have same input, which we used x, then we should have x itself at the end on both composed functions. Alright? So we'll find f of x equal y. The inverse should be f inverse of y equal x. Okay? The first example, so the first step, we're gonna what? Replace f of x as just y. Alright, so y equal 5x. So the second step, you're gonna replace every x with a y, every y with a x. Alright, so that will give us x equal 5y. Step 3, now we have to solve for the y. So what does it mean? Except the y, everything has to be get rid of. So in front of y, we have a 5. So what we need to do? We need to divide by 5 on both sides. So that will give us x over 5 equal 5 over 5 become 1. So 1 times y is y. Alright? So after we solve it, what is the last step? We're going to replace y with the inverse notation, f inverse of x equal x over 5. Or that is same as a 1 over 5x. Okay? Either way, it will be the right answer. Before going over next example, we're going to review quick about square and square root. Let's say if you have a x squared is equal to 4. So the x is multiplied twice and it should give you 4, right? So it can be positive 2 times positive, that gives you 4. Or negative 2 times negative 2 also gives you 4. So when we solve for x, algebraically, we put square root because the square root is cancel out with square, right? It's like an undo square with a square root, okay? So when you do something on the left side, you will do same thing on the right side. However, there is two cases. X can be positive 2, x can be negative 2. So we should put plus minus when we have a square of the x. Alright? Now let's talk about x cubed or x to the third power equal 8. So find what x value multiply 3 times give you 8. Can you tell already? It will be 2 times 2 times 2 that will give you 8, right? Can we also make a -2 times -2 times -2? All right, -2 times -2 will give you +4. +4 times -2 will give you -8. So when you have a cube, you don't need to use that plus minus symbol, all right? Because if you have a positive number and it should be the positive number, in order to get the negative number, it has to be negative number. So when we solve for x algebraically, you will put like a square root and you will add small number on top of that radical symbol. And you will do same thing on the other side. This will be cube root. So that cube root with the cube will cancel out each other. So x equal cube root 8, which we can rewriting cube root 2 cube, and then that cube root with the cube cancel out, x equal 2. So that's how we can solve when you have a cube. Now let's try example 11. So first step, you will put y instead of f of x plus 4 to the cube minus 6. And now you're gonna switch x and y. So x equal y plus 4 cube and minus 6. So everything else except the y, you need to get rid of from the right side. So I'm gonna add 6 on both sides. That will give us x plus 6 on left side. And on the right side, y plus 4 cube. All right, and then -6 and plus 6 canceled out. And now we need to get rid of the cube. How we can do it? We're gonna put cube root. And we do on the one side, we do the other side, the same thing. So cube root x plus 6 equal, now cube root cube cancel out, I have a y plus 4. And I'm gonna get rid of 4 by subtract 4 on both sides. This will give cube root x plus 6 minus 4 equal y. All right, so I solve for the y. Now last step, instead of y, I will use the inverse notation. F inverse of x is equal cube root x plus 6 minus 4. So that should be my answer for inverse of a function. So how I can verify two functions f and g are inverse functions each other? If f of g of x is equal x and g of f of x is equal x, which means it will come out as same input as a result, then they are inverse functions each other. So let's practice quick on number 12. Now f of g of x first. So f of g of x is square root x minus 8. So I'm gonna substitute, instead of g of x, I'm gonna substitute x square root x minus 8. After that, I'm gonna substitute square root x minus 8 as a x on the f of x. So that will give me square root x minus 8 square plus 8. All right. So square and square root will undo each other, cancel each other. So I will have x minus 8 plus 8. So plus 8 minus 8, that will be cancel out each other. My answer will come out as a x. So f of g of x came out as x. Now we need to evaluate if we will have g of f of x equal x. All right. So g of f of x is what? X squared plus a. So I substitute f of x to x squared plus 8. And then I'm going to substitute now x squared 8 to the g of x. So square root, instead of x, well, I'm going to put x squared plus 8 and minus 8. All right, so instead of 8, I plug x plus 2, x squared plus 8. Next step is, I'm just rewriting again, x squared plus 8 minus 8. So what happened with the plus 8 minus 8? That will cancel. So I have square root with x squared. And then square root and x will cancel each other. My answer will come out as a x. So g of f of x is equal to x. We prove both come out as a x. So yes, f of x and g of x are the inverse of each other. Alright guys, now it's time to you to practice with the rest of examples. If you have questions, let me know and we'll see you later. 안녕.